Hello, welcome back. This is not a planned video. I'm probably pretty obviously in a hotel room. I'm in Buffalo, New York. A couple of friends of mine got married to each other yesterday. It was a wonderful little gay wedding. I've been enjoying Buffalo for the past couple days. There's something that happened that I really want to talk about, and that is this reaffirming but also slightly frustrating situation around gender. And it has to do with, I don't know exactly what word to use. Like, I want to use the word mentoring, but it's not specifically mentoring. So I'm at a bar. This guy's talking to me about sports. We talk about music, all kinds of things. The entire time, most of the time I was having the conversation, and then at one point I realized I have no idea what gender this guy thinks that I am. And so there were a couple moments where I was like, you seem pretty straight and cis, and I'm pretty sure we're just having like a bro talk at a bar watching these sports games. But then there were moments where I was like, oh, are you trying to shift to like hitting on me? And I was like, oh, nope, it shifted back. I don't think that's the case. But throughout the conversation, I was also getting kind of this almost not really paternal advice, but like this mentoring kind of, oh, let me guide you type of advice that was, in the moment, it was clearly very gendered. Like, that guy was pretty obviously, to me, was like, oh, I'm seeing a young guy, even though probably we were actually the same age, but I usually get read as much younger than I am, especially at bars, because like I have this baby face. So it's very much a let me share this wealth of knowledge and experience with you in a positive, I want to encourage you type of way. And what really solidified it for me was when the guy got up to leave. He shook my hand multiple times and like patted me on the back in the way that straight guys pat each other on the back. And the like, I'm not gay, but we've like had this connection, even though it was at a bar, kind of late at night, and we live in different cities and we don't even know each other's names. It was very much that good old boy kind of experience is like the only way I know how to put it. And so on one hand it was affirming because it affirmed like my masculinity, which that's, if I'm going to be read, I would really just like to not be read as any gender, but being realistic, like if I'm going to have to be read as a gender, masculine I guess is the way to go for me. Really, like I'm like slightly more comfortable with that. And so it was, but it was also this like frustrating moment because women do not get that experience. I have never been at a bar where I was perceived as female by someone where I got this, from men or women, kind of educational, let me teach you, let me help you vibe or conversation or anything. Like, if I had just relocated to Buffalo, that guy would have been helping me find jobs. Like, that, and that connection, like, it doesn't, women don't get that same experience. Like, I don't know how, maybe I shouldn't make a video when it's like after 1 a.m. and I've had a few drinks, but I also wanted to just kind of record the moment to remember that it happened and talk about it, because it was great on the one hand, because I was like, these are the moments that I always think I'm in, and then someone will say or do something and they're like, no, that's not what's happening, but I expect it to happen. But then I also recognize that there's all of this male privilege that allows that to happen. That the guy was super nice, like there's nothing the guy did was wrong by any means. He was very nice and friendly and wonderful. But that conversation would have been very different had he thought he was talking to a young woman, or it wouldn't have existed at all, because it just wouldn't have, like, from my experience being read both ways. And I've been having this like great time in Buffalo. I have been able to go out with my friends and feel like it was the group of guys out having a drink or like out exploring together, and just very like, it's hard to say if you have not had the experience on both sides of like being out with groups of women and being out with groups of men. Like I have never really connected with the experience of being out with groups of women, even though I've done that in situations where even I thought I was woman, but it never like clicked for me. But I've also been out with groups of like men, is like where I was in my mind like, oh yes, like I just feel like I fit in as one of the guys, but then someone would say or do something and then I was like, oh, like that's not how everyone else is perceiving me in this situation. But that didn't happen this weekend. This weekend it was just genuinely like, oh, like we're just this group of guys out having some drinks, exploring a different city, that kind of thing. So overall, like, it was mostly reaffirming, but it was also kind of frustrating because those experiences just don't exist if you're not read as male, and probably not as white and male. Like, I'm just gonna throw that out there because it's probably very true. And so on the one hand, it's like, I don't necessarily want to be read as male. I'm definitely more masculine of center than anything else. I feel like if I have to squeeze into one box or the other, that's where I'm going to squeeze a little bit. So it was nice but frustrating and also confusing when I'm not sure how other people are perceiving my gender. And by other people, I mean like bartenders or people at like servers at restaurants or whomever, because I know like the people I was with were familiar with my gender and like use my pronouns and all that kind of stuff. But it was just overall like, it was like, oh, this is a thing that it really does happen. And it really does happen if you are perceived as male, but not as female, with like the whole, like mentory kind of. I wish I had a different word because clearly like, I don't know who that guy is. He wasn't a mentor to me, but are very much, that was the attitude that was being presented. So anyways, I kind of wanted to talk about that and say like that's a thing that's happening, and I'm at that point in my transition where I'm not always sure what is going on in terms of how I'm being read, and people are responding to me sometimes differently than they have in the past, and the way they're responding is how I've expected them to respond for years, even before I like really knew my gender identity. But now that they're responding that way, I'm more cognizant of the fact that they didn't always, and of like this big divide between what we, like the ways that we treat men and women in society. Like, not that I wasn't aware before, but now like, it's not just like, oh, I'm pretty sure this is what's happening. Now it's like, no, this is definitely what's happening. So I need to go to bed, but I wanted to get this down and hopefully upload it for you. And if you have any questions, comments, whatever, leave them below. Talk to me on social media. Have a great week, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.